Imagine a world where love finds you effortlessly, where you don't need to chase or alter yourself, but simply exist in a harmony so profound it pulls others in like a gentle, inevitable tide. There is a quiet mystery to this, a subtle dance occurring within women who seem to attract the best men naturally, without force or artifice. It is not about becoming someone else or playing a role. Rather, it is about presence and authentic being that vibrates with a deep confidence and grace. In our noisy world, filled with endless advice on how to find love, many overlook this simple truth. Love is drawn not to the surface, but to the essence. To attract love that is genuine, respectful, and lasting, you must first become a space of welcome and truth. Here are 4 habits, not just behaviors, but ways of being, that those women live by. Amid the chaos of life, they cultivate a quiet center, a stillness where their true selves can be seen and felt. This stillness is magnetic because it signals self-possession and calm. When you stop chasing love and instead become the calm harbor, love naturally arrives. They do not seek completion from others, but come into relationships as whole being. There's no emptiness to fill or brokenness to fix. This wholeness invites others to connect on a level that transcends neediness, a connection that is mutual and nourishing. Honesty with themselves and others creates an irresistible authenticity. They show up as they are, without masks or pretense. This fearless transparency attracts men who appreciate depth and truth over superficial charm. They are alive with passions and joy that spring from within, not from external validation. Their enthusiasm for life is contagious, and it draws people who want to share in that vibrant energy, not just fill an empty space. These habits aren't about perfection or forcing outcomes. They are about a natural unfolding, a return to what is already true within. The best men, those who bring respect, love, and partnership, are drawn not to perfection, but to presence, to the woman who stands quietly in her own light, unafraid and open. So, rather than searching or striving, begin with these 4 simple ways of being. Become the woman who does not chase but attracts, who does not demand but invites, who does not change for love but allows love to find her as she is. And in that space of profound acceptance, love will come not as a pursuit, but as a natural dance of souls meeting in harmony. In the midst of the relentless noise of everyday life, there exists a profound stillness that many overlook, but is essential for true connection. This stillness is not merely the absence of sound or movement. It is a presence so deep and full that it radiates outward, touching everything around it. Women who attract the best men do not rush to fill the emptiness with distractions or frantic actions. Instead, they cultivate this inner quietude, a sanctuary within themselves where they can be fully present and unshaken by the chaos that often surrounds them. This stillness acts like a magnet, not because it demands attention, but because it exudes a rare quality self-possession. When a woman embraces her own stillness, she sends a silent message that she is grounded, whole, and at peace with herself. It is this peace that draws others in, not as a desperate plea for companionship, but as an invitation to share in a space of calm and balance. To live in stillness means to let go of the restless need to control or predict the outcomes of relationships. It means allowing the flow of life to move through you without resistance, trusting that what is meant to be will find its way. This doesn't imply passivity or withdrawal from the world, but rather a deep engagement from a place of centeredness. In this centeredness, there is no anxiety about whether love will come or how it should look. Instead, there is a quiet confidence that whatever arises will be exactly what is needed. The energy of this quiet assurance is unmistakable. It does not shout or demand. It simply exists, like the calm surface of a still lake reflecting the sky. When others meet this presence, they feel invited to lower their own defenses and respond authentically. This stillness also creates a space for true listening, not just hearing words, but sensing the unspoken, the subtle currents beneath conversation and interaction. Women who embody this habit listen deeply to themselves first, discerning their own needs, desires, and truths without judgment. From this place of clarity, They engage with others with a compassionate attentiveness that is rare and precious. Men who encounter such women often find themselves more willing to be open, vulnerable, and honest, sensing that their words will be received without pressure or expectation. It is this quality of presence, born from inner stillness, that nurtures connection and trust. Moreover, the practice of stillness allows a woman to witness her own emotions without being overwhelmed by them. Instead of reacting impulsively to fear, insecurity, or longing, she learns to observe these feelings as passing clouds, acknowledging their presence without letting them define her. This emotional equilibrium is incredibly attractive because it signals maturity and strength. A woman who can navigate her inner landscape with grace and ease invites others to do the same. It is not perfection that draws people in, but the courage to stand calmly amidst life's storms, anchored by an unshakable core. In a world where so much attention is given to external appearances and frantic pursuits, the cultivation of stillness is a radical act of self, love, and wisdom. It is a practice that allows a woman to become a beacon of calm energy, attracting those who resonate with her authentic rhythm. This habit is not something to be forced or faked. It is a natural unfolding that arises when she learns to honor her own space and pace. The best men, those who value depth and sincerity, are drawn not to the loudest or most frantic, but to the quiet strength that stillness brings. To truly attract the best men, a woman must first come to understand and embrace her own wholeness. This concept goes far beyond the surface idea of being complete or independent. It is a deep recognition that she is already whole, not half a person waiting for someone else to fill the gaps or make her better. In this wholeness, there is no hunger to seek completion through another, no sense of emptiness that cries out to be filled by love or approval. Instead, there is a profound sense of being enough, exactly as she is. When a woman lives from this place, her energy shifts. It becomes expansive, generous, and free. She no longer approaches relationships from a place of lack or need, but from a place of abundance and generosity. This subtle but powerful difference changes the entire dynamic of attraction. Men are instinctively drawn to this energy because it signals strength and authenticity. It says without words, I am not broken, I am not missing anything, I am here fully, with all my light and shadow. This presence invites others to show up in the same way, not to fix or rescue, but to share and connect as whole beings. The best relationships are born from this mutual recognition of wholeness, where two people meet not to complete each other, but to complement and enrich each other's already full lives. This dynamic creates a foundation for love that is healthy, balanced, and lasting. It frees both partners from the exhausting burden of trying to fill emotional voids or heal wounds through each other, allowing instead for growth, support, and true companionship. Embracing one's wholeness also means taking responsibility for one's own happiness and fulfillment. Women who attract the best men don't look to others to provide their sense of joy or worth. They cultivate their own passions, interests, and sense of purpose, creating a life that feels meaningful and rich regardless of their relationship status. This independence is not about isolation or shutting others out, but about standing firmly in one's own identity. It is an invitation for others to join in, not because they complete her, but because they add something beautiful to a life that is already whole. Furthermore, this habit fosters a sense of peace and confidence that is palpable. When a woman knows she is whole, she does not fear being alone or worry about losing someone. She trusts in the flow of life and the natural unfolding of relationships. This trust calms any anxiety or desperation that can push people away and instead opens space for genuine connection. It allows her to set healthy boundaries, say no when necessary, and choose partners who respect and honor her integrity. The best men are attracted not by clinginess or need, but by this confident autonomy that signals emotional maturity and self-respect. In embracing her wholeness, a woman becomes a living example of harmony, a reminder that love is not about filling a void, but about sharing a fullness. This way of being creates a powerful magnetic field that draws the best men into her life, those who recognize and cherish the fullness she embodies. It is not a state to be achieved through effort or struggle, but a natural realization that unfolds when she stops seeking outside approval and begins to honor the vast, complete self within. Authenticity is a rare and precious quality in a world that often rewards masks and performances. The women who consistently attract the best men do so because they live authentically, they show up as their true selves, unapologetically and without the need for disguise. This authenticity is not simply about being honest in speech, but about embodying a coherence between inner truth and outward expression. When a woman embraces who she truly is, with all her quirks, imperfections, and strengths, she radiates a magnetic force that draws others close. This genuine presence invites connection because it offers a space free from pretense, where men feel safe to be authentic themselves. It creates a sacred kind of trust, a quiet permission to be seen and accepted as one is. To live authentically means to relinquish the endless game of trying to fit into someone else's expectations or societal ideals. It means shedding the layers of conditioning that tell women they must look, act, or behave a certain way to be worthy of love. Instead, it is a courageous act of self-acceptance, embracing the full spectrum of one's being, including the parts that are vulnerable or unconventional. This fearless self-honesty is deeply attractive because it signals inner freedom. Men are drawn not to perfection or an idealized image, but to the raw, unfiltered human being who stands with integrity and self-respect. Authenticity also means speaking one's truth, even when it is uncomfortable or risky. Women who cultivate this habit do not bend themselves to please or to avoid conflict. They communicate openly and honestly, creating a foundation of transparency in their relationships. This openness fosters deeper intimacy because it removes the barriers of misunderstanding and assumption. When a woman is authentic in her words and actions, she sets a tone that encourages honesty and vulnerability in return. The best men, those capable of meaningful connection, respond to this by lowering their own defenses and sharing their true selves. Moreover, authenticity requires a constant process of self-reflection and growth. It is not a fixed state, but a dynamic dance of continually peeling away false layers and rediscovering what is genuinely one's own. This ongoing journey keeps a woman vibrant and real, never stagnant or forced. It allows her to adapt and evolve while staying true to her core values and essence. This balance of stability and growth is deeply magnetic, as it reflects a life lived with intention and awareness. In a world where so many relationships begin with illusion or superficial charm, authenticity is a breath of fresh air. It cuts through the noise and creates connection that is meaningful and lasting. Women who embody this habit become beacons of truth and trust, attracting men who value depth over appearances and who seek partnership rooted in genuine understanding. It is this authenticity, the fearless being of oneself, that ultimately draws the best men and creates relationships that nourish the soul. There is a vibrant energy that flows from a woman who lives with joy and passion, an energy that draws others like moths to a flame without effort or intention. This is not a superficial happiness tied to external events or fleeting pleasures, but a deep, abiding zest for life that arises from within. Women who attract the best men carry this inner flame, a radiant enthusiasm that colors their world and inspires those around them. Their joy is not dependent on approval or circumstance, but is a reflection of their connection to their own purpose and passions. It is a life force that moves through them, creating a magnetic aura that cannot be ignored. This passion is contagious because it speaks to something primal within every person, the longing to be fully alive and engaged with the world. Living with joy and passion means embracing the fullness of experience, welcoming both the light and shadow aspects of life without resistance. These women are not afraid to pursue what excites their spirit, whether it is art, nature, learning, or meaningful relationships. Their enthusiasm is genuine because it arises from authentic interests and desires, not from the need to impress or conform. When a woman follows her passions, she becomes a living expression of vitality, and this vitality is deeply attractive to men who seek connection with someone who inspires and uplifts them rather than drains their energy. The best men are drawn to this spark because it promises a partnership full of growth, excitement, and shared adventure. This habit also involves cultivating a positive attitude toward life's challenges, seeing obstacles not as dead ends but as opportunities for growth and learning. Women who carry this joyful passion do not allow setbacks to diminish their spirit. Instead, they use them as fuel to deepen their resilience and deepen their appreciation for the good moments. This perspective creates a powerful emotional environment in which love can flourish. Men who encounter such women feel invited into a world where joy is not elusive but abundant, where passion is not sacrificed for safety but embraced as a vital part of life. It encourages a mutual exchange of energy that sustains and nurtures the relationship. Moreover, this joy and passion create a natural confidence that is irresistible. It is a confidence rooted not in ego or arrogance, but in the secure knowledge that life is worth embracing fully. This confidence shines through in how a woman carries herself, in the sparkle in her eyes and the warmth of her smile. It is a beacon that calls to men who value authenticity and emotional richness over superficial charm. The best men want to be near this light because it reminds them of their own capacity for joy and meaning. In essence, the habit of living with joy and passion is a profound form of self-care and self-expression. It honors the unique gifts and desires of a woman, allowing her to shine in her own distinct way. This shining attracts the best men not through effort or strategy, but through the natural radiance of a life well lived. It is an invitation to share in the dance of life with energy, openness, and delight, creating a connection that is both deep and exhilarating. A woman who consistently attracts the best men also cultivates the habit of deep empathy not only toward others but toward herself. This empathy is more than mere sympathy or polite understanding. It is an immersive presence that allows her to truly feel and honor the experiences of those around her without losing herself in their emotions. In relationships, this quality is profoundly magnetic because it creates a space where men feel seen, heard, and valued beyond surface interactions. It invites a genuine exchange of vulnerability and compassion, fostering a connection that moves beyond fleeting attraction to something more enduring and meaningful. When a woman listens with this depth, she mirrors back the true humanity of the other person, creating a sanctuary of trust and emotional safety. Deep empathy also requires a gentle kindness turned inward. Women who attract the best men do not harshly judge their own flaws or mistakes, but approach themselves with the same compassion they offer to others. This self-empathy allows them to be honest about their weaknesses and growth areas without shame or defensiveness. It frees them from the destructive cycles of self-criticism that can erode confidence and diminish their capacity for love. Instead, they learn to embrace their whole selves, including imperfections, as essential parts of their unique humanity. This authentic self-acceptance shines through, creating an irresistible aura of warmth and strength that draws people in naturally. This habit of empathy nurtures patience and tolerance, qualities that are invaluable in any meaningful relationship. It softens the impulse to judge or control and replaces it with understanding and openness. Men who experience this in a partner often find themselves willing to be more authentic and patient in return, knowing that they will not be met with harshness or dismissal, but with steady support and kindness. The best men are not looking for perfection, but for a companion who can hold space for their vulnerabilities and imperfections without judgment. Moreover, empathy fosters an intuitive understanding of emotional rhythms and needs, allowing a woman to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. This emotional intelligence creates a flow in relationships where both partners feel balanced and nurtured. It is not about losing oneself in the other, but about tuning in deeply while maintaining clear boundaries and a strong sense of self. The dance of empathy is a delicate one, requiring awareness and grace, and when mastered, it elevates love from mere attraction to profound communion. In cultivating deep empathy, a woman creates a magnetic field that draws not just any men, but the best men, those capable of giving and receiving love with sincerity and depth. It is a habit rooted in the wisdom of connection, where the heart opens not in desperation, but in genuine curiosity and care. This quality invites a love that is healing, transformative, and true. The final habit that defines women who attract the best men is the ability to embrace vulnerability with courage and grace. Vulnerability is often misunderstood as weakness, a crack in the armor to be hidden or fixed. Yet, it is in this very openness, the willingness to expose one's true feelings, fears, and desires, that authentic connection is born. Women who have mastered this habit do not shy away from showing their imperfections or admitting uncertainty. Instead, they meet their vulnerability with acceptance and even tenderness. This courage to be seen fully, without masks or defenses, creates a powerful magnetic field that draws others in because it signals honesty and realness. Men are naturally drawn to this authenticity because it allows them to lower their own walls and engage in relationships that are honest, intimate, and deeply satisfying. Embracing vulnerability also means risking rejection, disappointment, and heartbreak, yet doing so anyway because the potential for genuine connection outweighs the fear. These women understand that vulnerability is the language of the heart, the bridge between isolated selves and shared experience. Their willingness to be vulnerable invites men to respond with empathy and openness, creating a dance of mutual trust and respect. This habit is not about oversharing or emotional dependence, but about showing up as a whole person with all the messiness and beauty that entails. This openness fosters resilience, as women who embrace vulnerability learn to recover and grow from emotional challenges rather than being undone by them. They recognize that every experience, whether joyful or painful, is an opportunity to deepen their understanding of themselves and others. This depth of experience enriches their presence and makes their relationships more textured and meaningful. The best men are attracted to this depth because it promises a partnership that can weather life's inevitable storms and emerge stronger. Moreover, this habit transforms the way a woman approaches intimacy. Instead of seeking to control or avoid discomfort, she leans into it with trust and curiosity. This approach dissolves barriers and creates a sacred space where both partners can explore their true selves without fear. The courage to be vulnerable becomes a gift to the relationship, allowing love to grow in its most genuine and expansive form. In practicing vulnerability, a woman taps into a wellspring of authenticity and strength that is profoundly attractive. It is a paradoxical power, soft yet unyielding, open yet grounded. This ability to show up fully and honestly invites the best men not because it meets a need or fixes a lack, but because it reveals a soul willing to dance with life in all its complexity and wonder. And so, we return to where we began, not with a checklist of behaviors or a script to follow, but with an invitation to come home to yourself. The women who attract the best men are not playing games, chasing perfection, or pretending to be something they're not. They are simply becoming more and more themselves, whole, authentic, passionate, joyful, empathetic, and open-hearted. They are not seeking love to complete them, but offering love from the overflow of a life already rich with meaning. The irony is, the more you try to attract love through effort and control, the more it slips through your fingers. But when you stand in your truth, in your softness and your strength, the right kind of man, the one who sees with his soul, not just his eyes, will find you. Not because you chased him, but because your light called to something familiar in him, something real, something sacred. So the question is not, how do I make someone love me? But rather, am I willing to love myself so completely that love has no choice but to respond in kind? The answer is not out there, it has always been within you, waiting to be lived, not just known. Let this be the moment you stop searching and start becoming. Let love find you, not because you need it, but because you are ready to share the beauty of a life already overflowing.